Sometimes new, sometimes old, sometimes overlooked, but always worth a second look. These are Pair of Dice Paradise's picks for the Games of the Week. The Bateau Les Voix is a friendly competition between painters that takes place in a workshop in Paris. Now, the local papers are going to be covering this challenge, so perhaps, you realize, this may be a good opportunity to become the next famous French artist. This is the premise in Colors of Paris, in which players paint, present, and profit. Colors of Paris here, published by Super Meeple, is a resource management game in which players must juggle their paint tubes, mixtures, and time in order to create various works of art, all the while anticipating the actions of their opponents in order to claim the resources that they need at the right time that they need them from the board's central rotating display. In the game, players will produce paintings for prestige points by mixing primary and secondary colors to create various mixtures, represented by different colors of cubes. Along the way, there's also tools to master and improve, and commissions to perform for patrons in order to earn money to eat, because no matter how talented of a painter you are, you can't survive on tubes of burnt umber. Players will also have several assistants, which they will assign to selected spaces on the central rotating board. Now, some options are available in multiple locations, while others are only in a single location. But no matter what, the availability of each of them will change from round to round. The game continues until a player has completed the requisite number of paintings, then points are tallied up and the most prestigious artist wins the game. Now, Colors of Paris was one of my top surprises of 2019. I really like this game's rotating action selection wheel and its approach to resource management. So, yeah, color me impressed, and I highly recommend checking out this game.
So, you found yourself in an ancient, cursed temple that is collapsing all around you. Again. Mondays, am I right? This is the predicament that players find themselves in when playing Escape, the Curse of the Temple, a cooperative game of well-timed escapes. Hi, I'm Paula Deming from Things Get Dicey, and I've been invited today to share Escape, the Curse of the Temple, in which players collaborate in real time to escape a trap-infested temple. Players must work together, because if just one of the explorers succumbs to the temple's traps, then the entire party loses. The initial setup consists of a row of 3 square room tiles. Each room contains 2 symbols, such as 2 green adventurers, or 1 green adventurer and 1 blue key in the corner of the tile. Each player starts the game in the temple's center tile with a hand of 5 dice, which they will simultaneously roll in real time as everyone attempts to obtain the symbols and resources they will need in order to escape the temple before falling victim to its many, many horrifying and disfiguring curses. The symbols on the dice are used to enter rooms, access treasure, and activate gems that will be discovered. But the dice also contain a cursed mask symbol, which will lock it down and set it aside until it can be rescued by another player's roll. Players have exactly 15 minutes to find the temple's exit and escape. The game even provides a soundtrack you can use while you play. The soothing sounds of the jungle. Until the moment when a countdown starts, if players aren't back in the starting room when time is up, they lose one of their dice. Because if it's one thing that escaping from an ancient evil labyrinth needs, it's being under even more pressure while you do it. Have you escaped the curse of the temple? If so, share your record time in a comment. You want it up here.
Do you dream of living on an island, but you can't swim? Well, what if I told you that now you could get around that problem by inhabiting an island that's floating in the sky? Problem solved, right? And then, what if I also told you that you actually still do have a little bit of a problem, because the only place that those sky islands actually do exist is in Welkin, a game by Ankama for 2 to 4 players. Because that is what I'm actually telling you, so. To travel above the sky and further than the horizon is the motto of our team of celestial construction managers, or the architects of the sky, that players will be representing in Welkin. In this game, players will be crafting and selling fantastic floating facilities by collecting various resources and then assembling them to complete their construction contracts for islands in the sky. Each turn, players can either select a new island contract to create, or produce one of the 5 different types of resources, or apply those resources to their contracts in order to complete them. But you gotta be smart about it, because players have a limited space available in order to store their contracts and their resources, so they're gonna have to optimize their production line and attempt to complete each of their objectives as efficiently as possible. As soon as the contract's fulfilled, its owner is paid an amount of gold determined by the resources that were used to create it. But the value of these resources isn't fixed. It's going to depend on the current status of a fluctuating market. So, players are going to need to decide, is it better to build now and get their rewards immediately? Or would it be wiser to manipulate the value of the resources in order to earn a greater reward later? Don't ask me, because my attempts at market speculation have left me completely penniless. In the game, too. And once there's no more contracts available, well, then the game ends, and the architect who earned the most gold earns their place among the stars. You know, I should have wrote among the clouds, because they're floating islands, and that makes more sense, unless it's night, because the stars are always there, actually, so even if it's daytime and there's clouds, there's still stars. You just can't see them because they're obscured. And earns their place among the stars and or the clouds. Salvaged it right there.
The intrigues and scandals of medieval realms' great nobility are subject of fixation and even obsession for the entire kingdom, even for Carrington, the leech wrangler, and he rarely gets excited about anything. But blood-sucking parasites aren't the only thing to get excited about, because this is Cursed Court, a test of intrigue and hidden information. Hi, I'm Matthew Jude from This Game Is Broken, and I've been invited here today to share with you Cursed Court, a game where players must consider both public and hidden information, some of which is only shared between different pairs of players. Based on the knowledge a player can glean, they must wager their limited influence throughout the several seasons of the year. As the machinations of the 9 key nobles are progressively revealed, fortunes will rise and fall, and then, after 3 years of cunning and conspiracy, a winner will emerge and be crowned king of the Cursed Court. Which, you know, probably is just a name. It's most likely not really cursed. Probably. Cursed Court is a game of bidding and bluffing for 2 to 6 players. Each player can access a different set of limited information via shared cards and public cards. And while this is going on, players will place bets on the characters they have confidence in, or bluff elsewhere in the hopes of pointing their opponents in the wrong direction, which, let me be very frank, will happen. The player that outbids their opponents will win the favour of the nobles that they've invested in, but each player only has a limited number of coins to spend as they spread their influence, so their resources must be managed carefully, because they can only be stretched so far, but they can be piled up in nice little stacks, which is also incredibly satisfying. So each player must ask themselves which characters they're going to support. The king, the sorceress, the assassin, or, you know, the local leech wrangler. Say what you want about Carrington, but the man does good work.
Wake up, Linda! An incredible discovery's just been made that's going to change the world forever! Nope, not sustainable cold fusion power generators, but yeah, that would. Yes, that would be pretty life-changing now that I think about it. But no, I was referring to the discovery of colorful dragon eggs, which, while completely fictional, would still be fairly neat to have discovered. And now, all these newfound eggs need in order to hatch is a little incubation. So here's where things sit. High up in the snow-capped mountains, explorers have come across a number of large, colorful dragon eggs. And now the whole world is clamoring to get their hands on them. Yep, there has never been a better time to be in the egg hatching business. And yes, I am, of course, also including the Great Chicken Extinction Panic of 1847. In Incubation, 2 to 5 players take on the role of entrepreneurial dragon breeders looking to make a fortune by collecting resources that they will feed into their special dragon egg incubators in order to hatch their little reptilian marketing opportunities. I mean, friends. In this game, you will meet and greet 4 different types of dragons, as well as hybrid and mystery eggs. And as the dragons begin to emerge from their eggs, players will use them to fulfill objective cards, which earn them coins. And at the end of the game, the dragon breeder who's earned the most coins by hatching eggs and completing objectives becomes the master of entrepreneurial dragon husbandry, wins the game. Incubation, published by Synapse Games, includes 2 dice, 36 dragon egg cards, 10 objective cards, 5 incubator cards, 1 game board, 1 spinner, various coins and tokens, and incorporates them into an introductory game that features a little bit of dice rolling, some set collection, and a bit of pushing your luck for a target playing time of about 30 to 40 minutes. So tell me, Linda, do you have what it takes to become the best dragon breeder around? I hope that you do. Seriously, go for it. Knock yourself out. Breed those dragons, because meanwhile, some of us out here have realized that something out there has got to be laying these eggs. And it's not going to be too thrilled about your egg-based small business, so good luck to you, Linda. Whether you're a tabletop gamer or an interstellar life form that just enjoys dice, you'll absolutely adore hanging this playful Pair of Dice Paradise shirt upon your body. Unless you're a being of pure energy that has no corporal form, in which case you could, I don't know, use it as a dish rag.